Safe. Not any. The blight light. I keep. Yeah. I get what? Right. That was my assuming that I already started. That's what. Phoenix would be. Do everything. Fire. You got them. You know, like help I said. Trade songs. So we take it. And they go over. Next stuff. Or Randy, I'm fine. They need by day. So they get like the stadium. So bring back. I got rings. James. Use. That's what. So that. So I've already started looking at it. Yeah.
Please take your seats. All right, we are in the closing session. So, we'd like to call this meeting to order. First off, let's bring Aubrey Monroe up here for the invocation.
I'm here to do the invocation today, so if you just bow your heads if you'd like. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the opportunity to have a voice and make change in our organization. I pray for unity and that this would just be a time for us to come together and that you just bless USA Softball and all that it does and the work of all the people that are part of it. Lord, in your name we pray. Amen.
Mr. Phil Gutierrez, will you help us with the Pledge of Allegiance? Oh, what- well, everybody's standing already, so please join me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mr. Chris, please give us the order of events for this meeting.
On the screen, the order of events. How'd I do? Perfect. But yeah, the order of events today, go through it real quick. We'll do tournament, voting announcements that Tim W will do, all award, tournaments for 2026 that we have bids for. We'll have, several committee reports. We'll do playing proposals. Jimmy Jarrett will actually, be doing those, with Kevin's assistance. The next one, procedure for meeting, territory meetings. I've been informed by all territories that there is no need for meetings. Okay? So that means you see the word break there? We'll determine where that break's at as we're moving through this schedule. That break will be a 5-minute break. There we go. I knew there would be a lot of people who would understand that one. And then we'll do procedural code proposals, as well as there's a survey that I think everybody received. Don will go through that as well. Sorry, Dan, that one there is left over. There is no president-elect remarks this year. You're not being elected, so I apologize for that still being on. You'll get you'll be up here to talk on committee. So there you go. If you want to make any remarks, then. And then CEO remarks, I'll make a few remarks, and then obviously President Devine will make remarks and he will adjourn us. From that standpoint, I'll say this, that there's a couple of slides in here that shows about shuttles. We'll do one here very shortly. We'll do one at the end as a reminder on when shuttles leave. So please make sure you see those when we get there. We will also do a test question before we start playing rules, because I believe that'll be the first time we vote. The tournaments and stuff we'll do as a voice vote. We'll do a test question there from that standpoint. And as a reminder, with the athlete representation, 33%. So not having a quantitative or the number of athletes needed to get to 33, those have been weighted. So it will take a little bit of time when we're doing that. Donna Dante has that same information too as well. So as far as on the weighted voting, but athletes will have a weighted voting, will factor into that. It's something we've been doing for a couple of years now. So, and then lastly, and some sad news. Sorry to bring sad news to this group, but on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, which this past week, and John McPhail called me. They're running the game. This longtime umpire, very, very good friend of ours, Sergio Menendez, had a massive heart attack. They were able to get him revived, and he had a surgery and stuff, and he never regained to where he was breathing on his own and functioning on his own. So unfortunately, sad to report that Sergio passed away this morning. So if we could, I know we had a moment of silence the other day, but I really, indulge me, please, let's have a moment of silence for a very good friend, Sergio Menendez. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And if you missed. Hey, there's that slide. Bus service. Buses will run every 30 minutes, starting at 4:30 a.m. As Mr. Rodney Cobb would say, 4:30 a.m. sounds like a Craig Crest flight. I do like to go early. We might get there on time if we go early. But the buses will run every 30 minutes, starting at 4:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, so there's the bus schedule. We'll see that schedule again, come up at the end as a reminder. And at this time, I could have Mr. Tim Dobie come up and he will go through the tournament awards and then I will do CEO. Tim?
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate you mentioning Sergio. Did a lot of tournaments with him and John McPhail nationals, and been a little bit upsetting. So I appreciate Craig mentioning him. All right, if you go to your books and go to the national championship bids. So at the first one, we have the girls East 12, 14, 16, 18 A's, Richmond, Virginia pulled out, and Salem, Virginia, and Johnson City have worked out those ages for 2026. Salem, Virginia will be receiving the 14U and the 18U, and Johnson City the 12U and 16U. All right, so berths awarded by the Eastern Territory girls A 12, 14, 16, 18, Salem, Virginia has dropped out. Those are awarded to Loudoun County. So that goes for the A's and the B's. All right, the men's slow pitch D and E Eastern will be awarded to Salem, Virginia. Okay, bids awarded by the Southern Territory girls 12, 14, 16, 18 A, Orlando, Florida. And the girls B to Angleton, Texas. Okay, for the bids for the Northern Territory, the girls A 12, 14, 16, 18, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And the B's to also to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. For the men's slow pitch, found out something today that I didn't know. They run 2 of those each year. So for the D will be Topeka, Kansas, and Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And for the E, it will be Topeka, Kansas, and Mandan, North Dakota. It's not right? All right, so what is correct? I got this from Amanda. Should be Watertown and okay. Okay. Did I have it right to start with? Okay. Well, then he corrected it and you still said no. Okay. So the D was not correct? Okay. Okay, I'll make sure Amanda has that. So for the D's, it was Cedar Rapids and Watertown. Okay, and then the E's were Topeka and Mandan. Is that correct? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so Topeka and Watertown were the D. Okay, so, all right, here. Cedar Rapids and Watertown. Okay, and the E are Topeka and Mandan. Gotcha. What's out, Andy?
Let's,
Okay, that's why I guess you had it wrong. This, I've only got what I've got here.
okay.
But it don't matter if my first or last time. The book, I have what I have. All right, so we're gonna go one more time. And the D, Cedar Rapids, Waterton, right? E is Mandarin and Topeka. All right.
That is correct.
All right, for the Western Territory, the girls B, 10 and under, Salem, Oregon. The 12 and under B to Seattle, Washington. 14B to Seattle. 16U to Salem. 18B to Seattle. And Craig will go over his verse. I will let's turn to the next page. A lot of unbid nationals. If you would like to be involved in those, please contact Amanda Howitt for those, and she can help you with that. Any other questions? All righty.
Hey, now, Tim, Tim W., just so you know, it's not your last time. You gotta keep coming until you get it right, right? Thank you, Tim. Sorry you had bad information. We deal with that a lot. Data ins, data out, right? Data ins, data out. From a standpoint of CEO verse or CEO tournaments, men's masters 40 and over, Orlando, Florida. Very good friends at Burlington, North Carolina, continue to be seniors. Those groups. So thank you very much, Tim, Jessica. I know you do the work, so thank you. Appreciate you. And then the other one is the 10 and under, the fast pitch. And there was 2 bids in the book. However, those 2 bidders bowed out, and we had someone step up in the 10 and under will be in Johnson City, Tennessee. So, Brenda, thank you very much for being here. But appreciate it. But wanted to let you know that both of them stepped down from it. Johnson City stepped up, so the 10 under will be in Johnson City, Tennessee. As a reminder, several unbid tournaments, events, please reach out to the staff. If it's a territorial event, please work through your territories. Contact your territorial vice presidents, and they can take care of getting those tournaments there for you, and they'll get us the information to the office. Obviously, if you need a bid packet to fill out for one of those, don't hesitate to reach out to Amanda or Kyle. Okay? All right, moving along. As I said the other day, comments from Mayor Holt. It's not 2:30 yet. We didn't know where this would fall, so we put it in here. When he zooms in, we will put him up. So we'll continue on with committee forum and panel reports. And at this time, President Navarro.
Mr. Jones, come on down. We're gonna start with boys, men's, and fast pitch. Oh,
You have one mishap in your life and they'll never let you forget. That's USA softball. That's friends and family. Our committee met yesterday afternoon and on the boys and men's fast pitch. And some of the things in the discussion that we had was we went around the room and tried to find out where we actually had some boys events at. And there was only 2 places in the United States that had them. That was in Stevens, Pennsylvania, and the other one was in California, around I think San Francisco, Hayward area somewhere. So they have an event. Matter of fact, that event's coming up this weekend. So those are only 2 spots that we've had, and hopefully we'll get more. But we're just trying to keep this game going. We've done a pretty good job of doing some things. We wanted to know how we could develop the teams or develop players, and we are doing a lot more live streaming. So when you see that on our website, we would appreciate it if you would just pass that along to any young man out there that is playing baseball or whatever, or even don't even play baseball. They may want to try softball. So we'll try to, that's one of the things we could do. And we're talking about recruiting the baseball players, and our junior men and our 23 and under coaches have done a great job of doing that. They've recruited a lot of good ball players, and the junior men's 23 and under and our men's program, in my opinion, I've been involved with that since I won't tell you how long. So it's coming a long way, and we're looking pretty good right now. So that's one of the things we're doing. And we talked about funding, how we get funded. As you well know, some of these, we go through the National Office of USA Softball gives us funding for our 18U and our men's program. We get some funding from there, but we also have what we call the Friends of the Program, and they give us a lot of funding. Matter of fact, the Friends of the Program are when our team goes to Columbia in April, I believe, the time frame. That's totally funded by the Friends of the Program. So I'm proud to say that we've got a lot of people out there that are willing to help us out. So that works out pretty good. We had a stage event here last month with the men's, with the WBSC stage that will qualify you for the World Championship. And I am more than proud to stand up here and tell you that we actually went through that tournament undefeated. And these guys did a heck of a job. I've got 2 of them in here. There they are down there. 2 of our athletes down there. And we just had it was just a heck of a tournament. I was really proud of the guys and the way they did. And so that propels us to go to Canada next July. So that's where we're headed. We did discuss on how we could raise monies and stuff. And there were some things come out because we've run tournaments in the past. We have a tournament every January. Thanks to my good friend Ludi down in Fort Myers. We have a tournament down there that helps us raise some money. And we also have raffles. We do football pools and stuff of that nature to help us raise money. And we also talk to the people that are friends of the program. I had one commissioner, and I don't want to dime him out, but I'm going to do it anyway. We were talking about monies, and we never asked for a specific amount of money that we want somebody to donate to us. But Mr. Gary Young walked up to me and wanted to shake my hand, and I shook his hand. He had something in my hand, and I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was some paper. So I took it and I forwarded it on to Mr. Kress, and it was some monies that he just said, do whatever you guys need to do. So Cheryl has that money now. So that's every little bit helps. And lastly, I'm going to leave you with this. We did start a Super Bowl football pool. So if anybody's interested, they could see the guys over there or myself, and it's $100 a square, and we have certain payouts, but you want to help out the men's program. But we do thank everybody in this room for all the support we get. We always get a lot of questions. We know it's hard but I know you folks stayed with us and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Marketing, Mr. Roger Garcia.
Afternoon. The marketing committee has been meeting monthly throughout the year. We met yesterday during the morning, conducted old business. All of you got a binder with marketing material to use and distribute through your local associations. We've discussed national marketing emails, cleaning up the address list so that we have a consistent database. We also discussed about the new awards program with MPM. Throughout this coming year, we're going to be meeting and discussing new business to include smart forms, cleaning up the portal, dealing with logos for your Facebook covers and your websites. We also plan this year to discuss new documents to distribute out to the associations on how to create and use AI technology. So that information will be forthcoming. Again, this year we will plan on meeting monthly. Anyone who wants to attend those meetings, we'll make sure staff has the dates and times. Thank you.
All right. Stu actually had to go back to his home to care for a family member. So Darren Dustmeyer is going to be filling in for him for communications.
Thanks, sir. In the Communications Committee, we reviewed previous old business minutes and activities for multiple years to see if progress had been made and what areas of concern there still were. But the highlight of the meeting was listening to Todd Blyleven talk about the ideas that his staff are looking into and coming up with. Whether it was social media, branding, grassroots, digital locker rooms, and just creative assistance to all of us. Todd and his staff have lofty ambitions, but probably the best part of his presentation was Todd mentioned the word team multiple times. Made it very clear that whatever happens or whatever is happening, it was a collective effort from him and the people that he is working with, which was awesome to hear. One of the bigger parts of the conversation regarded website reviews, which we did not do this past year, but they will take place in 2025 because it was deemed important. And we are definitely going to do that. However, we did need more people to step up to help and assist that area, and several folks did. It should not be a problem getting evaluators for websites this coming year. I'd like to thank Christy Rich and Roger Garcia, who helped me get through this meeting, and a big thank you and thoughts and prayers to Stu Alderman. He is the heart and soul of this committee, and believe me, he hated not being here. But he left me the agenda, he left me notes. Quite frankly, he left me minutes just to be ready to have for this particular committee. So thank you very much.
Equipment testing and certification and audit. Mr. Nick Ullman.
Good afternoon, everyone.
First, I'll give you a report from the Audit Committee. The USA Softball Audit Committee met on Tuesday, July 23rd. The Audit Committee is comprised of myself, Michelle Moultrie, and Dan Pfeffer. The audit outlined an overview of significant risk based on risk assessments, risk areas of management override, of controls, no findings, risk area of completeness of deferred revenue by performing proof of cash testing in bank statements, and perform tests of details over a selection of registration revenue and deferred revenue transactions, no findings. Risk area of other program support revenues by performing tests of details of registrations, assessments, sponsorships, royalty revenue, Hall of Fame stadium operations, umpire merchandise sales, concession, and other merchandise sales, no findings. Revenues were all categorized properly. Full ledger analytics on all journal entries were performed that may appear to have a higher risk of management override of controls based on a cumulative risk score. No concerns of fraud or management overrides. Quality of accounting policies and disclosures, no concerns as policies are clearly defined with no management bias. One summary of misstatements was discovered regarding recording marketable securities at cost and not a fair market value, resulting in a change in assets of $21,362, basically an immaterial finding. Michael Lennon and Samantha Bina summarized the results of the 2023 audit, including required communications under audit guidelines. They noted no significant findings or deficiencies and issued a clean opinion. They commented Cheryl and Craig and staff and great cooperation and timeliness of accommodating throughout the audit. This audit was approved by the board of directors. For the 2024 Equipment Committee review, this summary of 2024 work of the Equipment Committee and Washington State University Sports Science Lab has covered several different areas of the game related to equipment. We continue to work with our manufacturing partners to advance and make sure new designs and products meet our basic requirements of Rule 3, Section 1A. Dr. Smith and WSU Sports Science Lab have been working to implement a new database to improve certification submissions for manufacturers and certification approvals for USA Softball. The database should go live by the end of 2024. The Washington State University Sports Science Lab, Southern Impact Center, and NTS Testing Lab assisted the Equipment Committee to institute a more robust compliance and testing program for bats and balls. A round-robin COR and compression testing was completed. Several dozen softballs were tested as part of the study. It appears that there was no clear bias in one direction, but that some balls tested higher and lower in other labs. Lab comparisons for testing of softballs will continue in 2025 and find data to form some conclusions regarding this issue. The Equipment Committee has worked with Washington State University Sports Science Lab regarding testing methodology to enhance the bat performance test. We now require a 4-hour ball rest period between impacts for ball qualification and testing. This has changed the report format. Every shot at the bat now uses a different ball instead of using the same 6 balls for the entire test. This process change was made to further improve test repeatability. We continue to study reaction time for slow pitch, which measures the player's reaction time under game conditions. This work involves measuring several features that are difficult to observe during play. These include the perception of the batted ball event, formulation of response time, and execution of that response. The study has used surface muscle activity sensors to monitor players during games to measure the reaction time of pitchers. The available response time is measured by using high-speed cameras.
Field studies included 4 border battles and have been completed, and the data has been reduced, confirming a significant statistical sample for a final report due by the end of this year. We continue to work with the lab manufacturers and our legal department to adjust our test methods to make sure we have bats in the field that meet our bat standard from the beginning to the end of life of all models. We're also updating our USA softball license agreements and should be done by the go into effect in the year of 2026. We have put together a subcommittee of the equipment committee to meet with manufacturers throughout the year by Zoom to help resolve some of the issues we may have had in the world of equipment. Working more closely and improving communications with the manufacturers could be very beneficial to USA softball and the equipment program. The 2025 projects of the equipment committee and WSU Sports Science Lab consist of finalizing the reaction time study, compliance testing on bats and balls, finalizing updates of licensing agreements and testing agreements to include new test procedures, affidavit guidelines, continue to utilize TrackMan for data regarding bats and balls, continue lab comparisons for testing balls, to develop data to help draw conclusions, and continue to work to solidify the working together relationship with our manufacturing partners. We appreciate the good work of Dr. Lloyd and Nick Smith in the WSU Sports and Science Lab. We recognize and thank our members of the equipment committee and Kevin Ryan, who works throughout the year on our equipment issues and works closely with the manufacturers in the lab. We continue to base our decisions regarding on bat and ball combinations and other related equipment on the scientific data we collect in effort to uphold the integrity of the game. Thank you. We had a pair of glasses, it's like helpers left at the lunchroom. So if these look like yours, I will send my paper. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Miss Sandy Joseph.
Good afternoon, everybody. A group of us met at 8 a.m. this morning to discuss diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I'd first like to thank COO Allison Flagg for leading that robust discussion. Our group has increased in size since the last year. Lots of great ideas out there, but our main focus today was to take a look at our DEI action plan that was created between 21, well, it was created in 2021, but it is in effect for the years 2021 through 2024. Well, it's that time again, folks. The USOPC is asking us to create another plan. And so the group reviewed each one of the directives and made some great suggestions for website. When we transitioned to the new website, we kind of lost some of our resources. And so there will be an initiative to try to recreate some of those resources, add new and beneficial educational resources for the membership. That will be the main focus. Allison will be preparing that DEI action plan here within the coming weeks. So I know that the feedback was beneficial. And again, it was great conversation, and we had to cut it off after 60 minutes. So thanks for everybody who participated. Look forward to seeing everybody next year.
Mr. Billy Powers. Report on affiliate and allied.
All right, it'll be real quick here. The Allied and Affiliates, we changed our time this year. It's been something that we've been asking for several years. Allison moved us around. We doubled our attendance and everybody actually stayed for the whole meeting because they didn't have to get to other committees. And I want to thank Allison for that. And then also Amanda Howitt was our liaison, and she has been incredibly helping us to find out who actually are affiliates and allied. So thank you both for that. We talked a little bit about why people are leaving the Allied and Affiliates. We're going to work on that as a group throughout the year, trying to find out why some of our colleagues have left and hopefully prevent more leaving and get some more back in. Then we voted on 2 applications, the National Wheelchair Softball Association and the Columbus, Georgia Sports Council. And we accepted both their applications and recommended them to the board to accept them. Thank you.
Athlete Advisory Council, Aubrey Monroe.
The Athlete Advisory Committee met on Monday, and we continued to discuss more athlete involvement to be compliant with the USOPC 33%. We came up with some good ideas, including an onboarding process for athletes. So we found over the last few years that a lot of athletes don't fully understand the governance process with USA Softball and how they can get involved. So to make that easier when they make a national team and to help explain that to them and get them more involved as soon as they're a part of a team. Earlier this year, our committee met several times over Zoom to discuss upcoming selection procedures for this quad coming up in 2025 in preparation for the 2028 Olympics. And so we made some changes that affected all national teams. That was presented and approved by the board. So that was very exciting for our committee. As we discussed more athlete involvement, we're talking about roles and responsibilities, working with the committees to give a really clear expectation for the athletes, how often committees meet, requirements of them so that we can get the right athletes on the right committees to really make the athlete voice more valuable to the committees. And we're working to fill upcoming vacancies. There'll be some new vacancies on the board for athletes as well as several committees. So getting the right athletes in some of those places so that we can have some really great people sharing a voice with your committees and being a more active part of USA Softball.
The Commissioner Committee, Mr. Incoming President Wayne Pfeiffer.
Thank you, President Devine. I am Dan Pfeiffer. This is the report from the Commissioners meeting. We discussed the following. The Membership Improvement Panel gave us an update. We discussed adding more metrics and more data to the annual production report. We discussed adding different options for Junior Olympic fast pitch and slow pitch insurance. We discussed Register USA and background check, Safe Sport, and ACE. We discussed updating the ACE training material. We talked about grassroots marketing, branded apparel, and purchasing power through more people going through the same company. And then finally, Allison cleaned it up with best practices. And let's not forget Joe's pig joke. Thank you.
Governance review, Mr. Donna Dante. Christy Allen, you're next.
Thank you, President Devine.
The Governance Review Committee in person met Monday at 8 a.m. We had 4 members in attendance, and I'd like to recognize the members of this committee, Rodney Cobb, Roger Garcia, Sandy Searcy. Unfortunately, Destiny Martinez and Ali Carta could not be here in person for the meeting, but those 5 individuals, along with Allison Clegg and Craig Kress, throughout the year, we had quarterly meetings, and we do a lot of work. We put in a lot of time in between meetings, and I'd just like to recognize those outstanding individuals. And we initially had a review of the 2024 accomplishments. We had quarterly meetings. The major thing we did this year was assist Allison and the staff with our USOPC audit and becoming compliant with that audit, and with the hope of being better prepared for future audits. And I can tell you the audit process in the USOPC is a moving goalpost, but and again, Allison does some phenomenal work keeping us in compliance. The committee produced and brought forth several amendments to the bylaws throughout the years that were passed by the board, and wrote some code proposals that we'll be voting on later today. What we did, and I was pleased, 8 o'clock in the morning, we had approximately 30 to 35 guests show up. And what we did, we just opened the floor to the guests to ask questions or comments for the committee or the staff to answer. What we discussed was board compositions, the relationships between our groups, the Athletes Advisory Council, our general counsel, the board, and the staff. You know, are we blending together and everybody doing what they're charged with and what they're supposed to be doing? And again, as I've always kind of said, the board is governed by the bylaws and handles the business of the association. The council is governed by the code and takes care of competition. We also discussed possibly redistricting, reducing regions and territories, and especially giving help, assistance, and marketing tools to local associations, creating a best practice document, and again, complying with our USOPC audit and being able to do things better in the future. We had a few action items, and the most important one is that we did establish the survey that you have, and also that the protocols of how we're going to present that to you later on today. Thank you very much.
The Junior Olympic Committee, Christy Alley, and then we'll go to modified class pitch, Tony Gallup. Christy Alley.
The JO committee had the benefit this year of meeting a day and a half early. And thank you to Allison and Amanda and the entire national office staff for putting that together. We did a little survey at the end, how many people enjoyed coming in early before the council, and it was a majority. Everybody liked putting it on the back of the council meeting. So we got a chance to actually get to know each other a little bit better, get to know faces a little bit better. We had a lot of breakouts through the week. We talked about grassroots, national, what tournament site we're all using, All-American games. It was good. We're going to be meeting. We have a big group, but we're still going to try to meet at least quarterly, break into groups so we can talk and be ready when we come next year. We were tasked with adding the 14 and under division to the All-American games. So we all talked about it. In about 2 weeks, we're going to get together with all of our reps who will have already gone to their regions and spoken to everyone to see, you know, who's in, what we can do. You know, maybe not everyone will be able to do all their teams the first year, kind of like when we first started. We're going to keep with the USA Softball brand of excellence with the All-American games, and we're going to try to keep it steady. We have Tim Dobie who's going to wants to help on the 14 and under side. Most of our reps We're all a little controlling, I guess, want to stay and do 12 and 14, but, we're going to talk about that. A couple of regions are going to have 112 rep and 114 rep. Depending on how that goes will depend on what kind of meetings we have. We got to work with the national office to see how it's going to work to run the tournament. But that's where we're at. We're going to give it our best shot, and I can't see anything failing when everybody gets together. That's it.
I'm starting to think, shut up, it's my first night. Modified pitch, Ken?
Good afternoon, everybody. We met yesterday, far as for the modified. This past year, we did not have a tournament. We had some issues, come up prior to the tournament, so we met. We had about, probably 10, 12 people in there. This is one of the best games we have going out there, in my opinion. My former committee chair said it best. It's the pure game for us, far as for guys that used to play slow pitch and whatnot. Some of the things we discussed was code proposals, rule proposal. This year's tournament, as a group, we decided to do a Midwest and an East Coast. Michigan has stepped forward looking to hold the Midwest one. We want to get our numbers up. So one of the things we discussed was creating 2 tournaments, see if we can get both locations up and going, and then maybe eventually get them back to traveling back and forth. We discussed the pitching rule. Most of us decided as a group that it doesn't need to be changed, just needs to be kept the way it is. And besides that, that's it. Thank you all.
Properties, Miss Chris Jones.
So she forgot to put out that the All-American Games will be August 3rd through the 6th for the 14 and under. So just want to make sure of that. So I'll go ahead and switch gears for properties. Appreciate everybody's help with those that are on the committee. For the properties, for those of you who know, that is all of our gear for our umpires. It continues to do well. I appreciate the excellent work commitment that Cheryl continues to provide properties. And again, with making sure that we get the right volume, right products, and of course, the right price. Items that we discussed on Sunday morning was one, you guys all know that we have the partnership with Oakley, so please take advantage of it. It's a good deal. Second of all, Champ Pro, which some of you guys have seen them at our vendor show yesterday. They are looking at revamping and getting a lot of umpire feedback for their products. So they can provide quality product that the umpires will actually use and like. So we appreciate their continued effort and partnering with us. And we did start selling charcoal pants, which helps us. So we have Heather Gray and charcoal. It was decided, and I hope it was announced at the other committees, that in 2025, Heather Gray will be still the dominant pant for national championships. And then starting 2026, charcoal will be that primary pant for national championships. Of course, what you do in your local associations, do what's best for you and your members at that point. From there, I do appreciate the committee. We do meet a couple times a year just to make sure we stay on top of things. So keep on buying gear. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Christie, you need this note back. Huh. Okay, I'll give it to Dave. We're gonna hold on committee reports right now. I've been informed that our mayor has zoomed in, so if, we could put the mayor up on the screen here, if that's possible. Go ahead. There he is. There he is.
Well, hi, everybody. I wish I could be with you. Much like Oklahoma City, I am on the go, and we could not make a connection for me to sit down with you like I usually do, but I'm heading back to Oklahoma City right now from a speech, and I just couldn't, however, completely miss the opportunity to greet you, welcome you to our city. We are so incredibly proud, as you know, to be the world capital of softball and all that that has meant for our city. And obviously, this is a uniquely exciting gathering this year because this is our first time to be together since the public announcement of LA28's plan to put the Summer Olympic softball competition in Oklahoma City in 2028. So we have a lot of work to do over the next 3.5 years, but obviously we're the city to do it, and this partnership has made all of that possible. I can't thank Craig Kress enough for all of his work and all of his friendship and partnership and his whole team. We are so grateful for the work that we do together and the opportunities that it's given our city. And hopefully it's just as beneficial to all of your folks as well. And I'll always remember that he and I both were kind of working LA28 before we even knew that the other one was doing it. And finally, we connected those dots, and the rest is history. So thank you for believing in Oklahoma City in regards to the Olympics and so many other things. And thank you for your partnership. And I look forward to being with you again soon. And obviously really excited about the plans that we're going to make together over the next 3.5 years. And of course, you're always welcome back for all the many competitions here in OKC, and especially the Women's College World Series. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your time here in Oklahoma City, and I know we will connect soon. Thank you so much. And thank you, Craig, for the chance to say hi.
Thank you, Mayor Holt. I greatly appreciate him taking the time out of his busy schedule. He promised me he wouldn't be driving when he was talking, and he wasn't, so that was good to see. Because I've been on some meetings where he is driving and talking. So, but as he said, they're proud for us to be here. It was a great move when we made the move here back in the 60s, and the partnership has only continued to flourish. Ron, thank you very much for getting the groundwork started with the previous mayors and things like that. Mayor Holt has been super to work with, and we're very, very fortunate to be here. It's one of those things. It's a win-win situation. So I do appreciate Mayor Holt taking the time, and he does appreciate us and he loves being around, and he's a very active mayor. But thank you for indulging. I'll let him know that I know you guys appreciated it, so I'll let him know that as well. So at this time, you want me to call up the next committee, Mr. Devon? At this time, slow pitch, Mr. Darren Dustermeyers. Mr. Dooley, you are on deck with special programs. The 50-50 still going on. I'm getting on Andy's good side here. I'm doing a PA announcement for him, public service. 50-50 still going on. We'll continue to do that. I believe that we're going to do that drawing probably right after we get done with Don and Dante's session of it. But please make sure if you need your 50-50 tickets to get it. But Mr. Dustermeyer.
In the slow pitch committee, as the norm, we review various proposals for both code and rules. Several of these featured considerable debate, which is what we want. We want to have debate. We want to have discussion on things we are passionate about. These discussions were very positive and very informative, but we did spend several minutes talking about future scenarios as well. Scenarios that include adult versions, maybe of the high performance program, and maybe even something similar to what the All-American Games are doing. We also talked a little bit about classification, destination locations, as well as what our competition is doing and what we need to consider. Specific to that, our President-elect Dan Pfeffer did a great job with a presentation regarding one of our competitors and the numbers that they have and some of the things that they are doing well and not so well. One final thought with the Slow Pitch Committee. Those several proposals that were turned in will go down. It's still inspired conversation, which is what we want to have in our committee setup. However, the purpose of any idea proposal in this case was to better the slow pitch game. Right now, our numbers in slow pitch showcase that we need to do something and that work needs to be done and that work needs to happen now. Thank you.
If you didn't notice, I didn't come up from this way. Over yonder. But we did meet as a committee yesterday and took care of a couple items of business, and I don't want to repeat a lot of stuff that we've already talked about. But in our meeting, we want to say thanks to all of you that's supporting our efforts for fundraising. And everybody in the committee agreed that we asked each association if they could to donate $300 to the event. So we'll be in Oklahoma City, September 18th through 21. And I'm kind of going out on the limb, but I'm going to do it anyway. We need a second venue. So I told our committee that my choice was Mustang, and they didn't have a choice. So Mustang, here we come. Well, they all agree. But some of the things that we're looking at for you all is to please go back home and contact your office, the Special Olympic office, and see if you can help. Everything we can do with Special Olympic, especially inclusion, is very important. So I encourage you to do that. So at this time, it gives me pleasure to present this plaque, and I'd like for Craig and Dave to come up. Because of you all, we're able to present back to USA Softball for their involvement and been involved for several years now. So on behalf of our committee, Craig, we'd like to present this to the national office. You and Dave, you all continue to support. Thank you very much. All right. They said Joe told a corny joke. I'm going to tell you a good one. This elderly lady had been riding a mule out in the desert. And she'd come up on this little town. So she rode up to the saloon and tied the mule up to the kitchen post. And out comes the cowboy, drunk. And he looked at it and he said, "Oh, lady, can you dance?" She said, "No, not very well." He jerked his pistol out, started shooting around her feet. She's jumping around. All of a sudden, she heard that pistol go click. She reached up on the back of that horse, that mule rather, got a double barrel shotgun out, cocked both hammers, stuck it right up underneath his nose. Said, "Have you ever kissed a mule's butt?" Said, "No, but I always wanted to." So Mr. Young just walked up here in South Dakota and handed me a check for $300. If I'm not out of order, anybody else wants to make that contribution, give take real quick time and run up on that mic right there and say, yeah, we get your name. Cheryl will, once we get settled from this convention, everybody that pledges it, she'll send you a friendly reminder that you pledged to give that, and we expect you to give that and all that good stuff. So I'll say thanks, and you on the clock. Thank you. North Carolina,
Johnson softball of Alaska, $500.
okay? For those of you who approached me yesterday, Chris just reminded me, some of you have already done it. We got you down.
USA Softball Sacramento pledges $300.
Thank you.
USA Softball of North Dakota, $500.
Thank you. We did that. Here comes the big bucks here.
USA Softball Minnesota will pledge $500. You take cash?
Yes.
Venmo?
Yes. I ride a mule too. Okay.
USA Softball of Indiana and Kentucky will do $300 each.
Thank you. Anyone else? Not soon as Don gets through legislating. I know the pot's up to almost $1,600, so that's $800 to the winner. And if you bid on the solid auction item, we'll be there till we make sure we get everybody their item. And as Dan says, we do take cash. Thank you very much.
Hello. USA Softball of Alabama will pledge $1,000.
Baby, I can see you. Hey, I see you now. Thank you.
All right, we are to the playing rules. Mr. Jimmy Derrick. Time to find your voting machines.
Before we get started here, we're gonna do the test questions. Just so everybody knows, after this, we'll take a break. Your 3-minute break. But we're gonna do a test questions. Everybody have their voting machines? Okay. I would say, are they plugged in? Because that's where I started when I was in the computer world. A lot of people didn't have them plugged in. Make sure we got it. Probably a tough one here. I know that Bev Wiley will not pick number 5. She made that clear to me today. She hates pineapple. That's the word she used. So, favorite pizza topping. Please select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or other. Vote now. No. No. As I said a while ago, it's going to take a little time to do calculations, and Kevin goes, Julie told a joke, can I tell a joke? And can I tell a joke? And I said, no. No. Right, Phil? No. There you go. In our world, that's not a win, but you can see how they're ranked because we have to have on tournaments 50% plus 1, and on code and rule proposals, we have to have 60%. But in this case, on the favorite pizza topping, pepperoni was the number 1 choice at 45%. All right, Mr. Derrick.
I'd like to begin by thanking the Playing Rules Committee first for all their hard work. I'd also like to thank Chris Drum, Vice President, or excuse me, Vice Chair, and also for her induction into the 2025 USA Softball Hall of Fame. Can we have some applause on that, please? Also Vice Chair Andy Williams, and of course, I couldn't leave out Kevin Ryan. Will we have some applause for him? I'm going to begin. If you would, go ahead and take out your booklets. And we're going to go over first the withdrawals that have happened throughout the week. Item number 1. Item number 7. Item 8. Item 9. Item 10. Item 12. Item 13. Item 14. And item 16. We'll leave those up for just a moment so you can go ahead and mark your votes. As we move forward on the remaining items, I want to lay a little bit of a ground rule out there. What we will do is we will call out the item number, how the committee voted, and if you choose or want to put that one on hold, if you would walk to the mic, state your name and your association, and we'll put those on hold. Number 2, item 2, approve. Item 3, rejected. Item 4, approved. Item 5, rejected. Item 6, rejected.
Piedmont, Virginia, wish to put a hold.
Item 11, rejected. Item 15, rejected. Item 17, rejected. Who was that? All right. Item 18, rejected. At this time, I'd like to get a nomination, if we could. Yeah. Let me go ahead and review the holds first. 3, 6, 11, 17. Are there any more holds at this time? All right, at this time, could I get a nomination to go ahead and accept those that do not have a hold on them? Do I have a second? Okay, now this is one where we're actually gonna verbally vote. We're not gonna use the machine. It's gonna be a verbal. So at this time, all in favor? Opposed? Item number 3 is before you. Do I have a motion? A second? All right, let's have discussion. If you come to the mic.
First, I want to give you a little facts. We have an invitational tournament every year. We had 37 women's team play. I don't know how it is in your association. That's a pretty good number for us. We also was slated to host the East Nationals. We got 0 infant entries. The biggest problem the ladies tell us, they don't want to buy 2 sets of bats. And the only place they play in is with the other organization. We allowed that in that invitational tournament. The only way we're going to be able to get these women to play, we're going to have to do something, folks. Our numbers are going south bad. And it's all about equipment. And I respect what this equipment committee does. But I don't see them going to court. I don't see injuries going out there. We got to do something. And I just want to take that opportunity because I represent them teams. And I think we should take a good look at that. Thank you.
Good afternoon again, Dick Goldman, Chair of the Equipment Committee. First of all, I would really caution the council about making equipment policy that doesn't follow the science through the Equipment Committee to uphold the integrity of the game. When this issue came out, I sent an email to Dr. Lloyd Smith at the lab and asked him about his opinion regarding this. And I quote, "Portable barrel compression testers have been very effective in mitigating the effects of bat doctoring and bat break-in, but they are not sufficiently accurate to regulate performance. We are currently testing the U-Trip 240 bats to see if they would be appropriate for our game. We have not completed that. Some of the tests are positive, some of them are not. So I would caution you in deciding on this matter that please follow the science and equipment policy."
I would just like to follow along with Mr. Goldman there and say, I think this is a possibility down the road, but we need to let the equipment and testing committee do their job and then bring us the facts and evidence and let them do that before we jump into something we may not be able to get back from.
During the invitational this past year, I worked strictly women's tournament the entire time. Talking to every team that came through the fields I was working. All of them would have come back had it not been for the bats. All of them were swinging the 240 U-Trip bats with our 52-300 balls. The U-Trip bats with the 52-300 ball are horrible. They're absolutely horrible. Our bats are 100 times hotter with the 52-300 ball. There's zero reason to think there's any possible negative effects that this draws people back to playing our game.
Anyone else coming to the mic? See if goes well. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm with Andy in this position. I think the problem that we have is if we continue to wait, our program's going to be gone. Our territory tournaments are very, very low in numbers in the D division. They're moving to the E, but those numbers are fading very fast. I understand the concerns about going through the process, but I think by the time we get through the process, it's going to be too late.
Just a point of information, Player Rep and Slow Pitch both rejected this. So we should follow suit with what played rules and equipment and reject this.
Anyone else? Just want to remind everyone that it will take at least 60% to overturn what the committee has put in. Time to call for the question. Are we going to use these? We're going to be using these now, guys. Time to vote. Yes to approve, no to reject. It remains rejected. We now have 6 before you. We now have 6 before you. Do I have a motion? Got to have a motion. Second? Okay, discussion.
Uh, Here again, this rule I sat in, of course, chaired player rep committee, sat in the slow pitch committee. Both those committees approved this. I understand some people have some confusion on how I worded it, but the basic concept behind this is that it gives the team sitting in the winner's bracket the choice of whether they're going to be home or away in the championship game. That's all it is. It's what our teams have asked for years. Whether you're playing E or double A, that's a minimum reward we can give them for going undefeated into the championship.
To expand on that, in a double elimination tournament, there's only one game in the tournament where the teams are not on equal footing, meaning one team has no losses, one team has one loss. Why not reward the team that has no losses, that has gone undefeated to that point, with that option of choosing whether they want to be home or visitors? If it goes to an if game, you have 2 teams back on equal footing, both with 1 loss. At that point, you can go back to the coin flip.
Anyone else? All right, let's call the question. Remember, for 1, it's approved. 2, it's reject. Oh, we've changed the word. Vote now.
Number 6 is approved. The next rule before you, our next item, is number 11. I will need a motion. A second. Okay. Discussion? As amended.
So ladies and gentlemen, this rule was, proposal was put in by me and it was amended to include the wording of C and below for the divisions of play and slow pitch. Simply put, this was something that I was asked to put in by some of our teams in Michigan and a few other places around that I've dealt with in the past. I know several associations do this already, and it's just something that has added a little bit of flair to what we do. If you can't do it from an umpiring standpoint, it becomes very obvious that pitchers can't do it. It's an illegal pitch, excessive speed, height, whatever the case may be. And then they ultimately go back to the pitching plate as it is anyway. This is simply a choice. It's an option. It's not something that has to be done, but it's something that's worked well for us. And whether it's a perception or actual science of feeling safer when you do pitch it, the pitchers who can do it seem to really enjoy it. Thank you.
Other discussion? Let's call the vote. Vote now. Item is accepted. Our last item will be number 17. Do I have a motion? So there's a second. Discussion?
We just put this in there to clean up from last year when we did pass to allow this, to make it that it can be any player, even if they've already ran for someone. So last year, the assumption from a lot of us who were proponents and pushing for this last year that this is the way it was, went back. It got understandably so because it was not clear. So this is just to clean it up to allow that it can be any person and it's not limited if someone's already ran for somebody else. Thank you. Player rep and slow pitch both approved this.
If you've had the opportunity to do some state, even certain national levels of play, and especially if you play in it, you'd be amazed at how some of these teams, when they put them together, they are looking for maybe not the best softball player. They're looking for somebody with speed to do exactly what this rule is intended to do. And I mean, played in a couple of associations that do something similar to this, it can make or break you. If you have that runner that can do any number of things, especially with the speed on the bases, it creates a little bit more excitement for the game and it gets more people to participate. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Let's call the vote. Vote now. It is accepted. This concludes the portion for playing rules. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna take a short 5-minute break, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that. So take a break, then we'll get back into the procedure code when you get back. That's what. Oh, that's what I'm saying. He's got some of that. You're really strict. That, you know what, this is. Right, that's right, right. But I'm getting. From. Me. Stay with me. You know, things like them, you know.
That's my, that's fine. Right? They are. I don't, getting 24 inch. Most guys, well, 50. Yeah, outside, right? What do you know? Nope. Yeah. It's the part. It's like everything. This one? I need to see. Yeah, I did. All right, then.
Hey, I have to ask somebody to. Some of those associations are well under that. Oh, yeah.
I'll go with my thing. What?
closed.
If I can have your attention. I think your 5 minutes is up. We can start heading back to our seats, please. It'd be great. I always like it when we announce that and then people go out the door. That's a good thing, I guess.
Thank you, Craig. All right, so we are voting on two allied affiliate members, the National Wheelchair Softball Association and the Columbus, Georgia Sports Council. Craig told me that we could do these together. If somebody has an opinion that they want them separated, they could step up to the mic now. And if not, I will have a motion to accept these to our allied affiliate council. Motion first and seconded. Is there any opinion? Anybody want to ask any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. All those against? In the opinion of the chair, it is carried. Thank you. I believe they wanted me to do Warren Wassam thing again, but I'm not.
Before we begin with the procedure or with the items as individualized, I will repeat a few things. As CEO Kress told us at the opening session, if we go to the voting machines, it takes a little bit longer this year because we have a weighted system to ensure that we get 33% athlete representation. We will go through all of the items one by one. And at the end of the presentation, I will ask for holds. Please go to the microphone tell me which item you're holding and your name, please. I would like to definitely thank President Devine for again giving me the opportunity to come before you. I'm very humbled to be here. I'd like to thank my co-chair, Tim Doby, the excellent staff, especially Kylie Webb, Amanda Howitt, the IT department, especially Jay and Devin, and Allison Flagg for everything they did, and all of my committee members. So with that being said, I'll skip for those of you who like to go fast, but we're going to also do them individually. Items 1 through 8 have all been withdrawn. So item 1 has been withdrawn. Item 2 has been withdrawn. Item 3 has been withdrawn. Item 4 has been withdrawn. Item 5 has been withdrawn. Item 6 has been withdrawn. Item 7 has been withdrawn. Item 8 has been withdrawn. Item 9 has been accepted. And it's going to be easier down the road that this is the first year ever that every item has been accepted. Don't know why that happened, but it's interesting. So item 9 accepted, item 10 withdrawn, item 11 accepted, item 12 accepted, and because we went to a new format, some of the dates were left off. So this would become effective in 2026. So again, the effective date of 12 would be effective in 2026. And it has been amended. And the last sentence is the amendment, and it reads, any unused berth would first go to the local association's region and then to the girls' fast pitch national championship panel for distribution. Item 13 has been accepted. Item 14 has been accepted. Item 15 has been accepted. Item 16 has been accepted as amended. The amendment reads an assessment fee of $50, and then in parentheses, $25 for slow pitch and adult fast pitch per team shall be paid to USA Softball. Item 17 has been accepted. So going back, do I have any holds on any of the committee's recommendations? And I see Mr. Goulman coming to the forefront.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to put a hold on item 16.
16, this whole Goulman. I do not have a list, but again, I will say that all items have been accepted. I'll go back and repeat them. So if we could put up item 9. Item 9 has been accepted. Item 11 has been accepted. Item 12 has been accepted as amended with the current date of, or with the date of 2026. Item 13 has been accepted. Item 14 has been accepted. Item 15 has been accepted. Item 16 has been accepted as amended. And item 17 has been accepted. As of right now, I show one hold, and that is item 16. Hold, Mr. Verse. Do we have any further holds on any of the items? Hearing none and seeing no one rising to speak, may we get a motion to accept all of the committee recommendations except for the held items? Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Those committee recommendations in the chair's opinion have all been accepted. Item number 16 is before you, Mr. Goldman.
Thank you. First of all, I understand the premise of this proposed legislation. We run national tournaments as well, and it's difficult. All I'm here to do is bring you information. I'm chair of the USA Softball Finance Committee. We annually run a deficit of $100,000 in our national tournament programs. And I just want, and for 2025, we're budgeting another $100,000 deficit in that line item. I just wanted to bring you that information.
Thank you. Would anyone else, Mr. Deistermeyer?
First of, this is on. Testing 1, 2. Is this on? All right, we'll just try my best. Here we go. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Mr. Gallman, because he let me know that he was going to do just that, and that's what teammates are for. That's what teamwork's all about, so I appreciate his comments. Honestly, I was asked by a host site to put this in, and that's what I did. However, if you look at, some of the things that are within code or even in the tournament packets, there's a variety of fees that are hard to decipher sometimes. So this particular proposal, again, was asked to do so. I did it. These host sites are really struggling to do some of these national tournaments. If we can help make it better for them, great. If not, we'll just have to figure out the best way to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Do we have any further speakers on item 16 as amended? Hearing none and seeing none, please, if you could put the voting up. And please vote now. Item number 16 has been accepted. Item number 17 is before you, Mr. Burris.
In the adult world, I can't speak for the youth. I know they like their medals. In the adult world, if we don't give them something, the adults don't want a medal that hangs around their necks. I mean, for Christ's sakes, most of them are between 30 and 40 years old, if not older. They don't want this. They don't want a medal that hangs. It's going to collect dust. I had a team in 19 in Piedmont, Virginia, win our EU Star National. When they got their jackets, the guys wore them proudly. They had one that came in on the wrong side. They give it to me. I had it framed and hung up with my tournament sites where I run all of my adult flow pitch tournament. Those guys see it. They want one. We take this away. They find out about it. They go to just getting a medal that goes around their neck. We're going to keep reducing our number. I understand the cost, but if we take the jackets away, we need to do something other than a medal that hangs around their neck, whether it's a ring or whatever, because our competition charges less money than we do for nationals and gives away custom rings that are sized for the individuals. We don't have to do that, but we ought to at least give them rings of some sort.
Is anyone else desiring to speak at this time to item 17? Hearing none and seeing none, please vote now. Item 17 has been accepted. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a great rest of the day and safe travels home.
Mr. Dooley. Mr. Dooley, are you ready for the drawing? Okay. That would be your expertise, not mine. I know. I see him. No. No jokes. Andy's still collecting money and counting it. Is that what you need, JJ? You made it. $902 to win. Here, you do this part.
All right. $902 to the winner. And I got an IOU in my pocket. Zero 4 8 3 6 8 8. Hell no, you need to read your name. Look at mine. Who we got? Well, hell, that's bad. No, that's good. We think we got a match. We got it. I think. I just had my eyes checked the other day and I couldn't see. Okay, we got a match. Congratulations. You go right back at this table. We'll give you a third of it. Thank you. If any of you bid on the silent auction items, whenever which one of these two distinguished gentlemen finish this up, come by, put a bid down if you want, and we'll be right there till it's over with. It's closed once. The last one walks off this day. Thank y'all very much.
When I ran for president, one of the things I mentioned is I really wanted to listen to council and what they wanted. So this survey about how the board composition and stuff will be is back on what you asked me to do. I'm going to explain a little bit more, but once again, we are looking for your advice to take back to the board on what you guys really want the board to look like. So.
Thank you, President Devine. And again, just initially, I want to stress this is a survey. And board members have been hearing complaints from council members at times. They're not happy with the way some of the board composition is. They're upset that most of the regions, it's one person running. We're not having true elections. So again, we've been dealing with this for 2 or 3 years, kicking it around the governance review committee and the board of directors itself. We haven't been able to come up with a clear solution or one that was acceptable, but we've heard what council members have told us, and we're trying to take action, and we just want your opinion of what's going to happen or what you would like to see happen. And if there's an overwhelming feeling that we need to revamp the composition of the board, it won't happen until 2027 at the earliest. We realize that we would have to roll out protocols and do some things, and we would get a fully comprehensive plan together to roll it out and begin to do it. But again, we want to hear your honest opinion, and this is all we're trying to do. And if we're going to do this kind of how we do the presidential elections, the initial vote, we'll vote for one of the 5 options. If no option receives 50%, we will drop 2, the lowest 2, and then we will vote again. There are some guidelines here that I want to go over because a lot of these things are similar. The USOPC guidelines for our board of directors is that we must have 33% athlete representation. So in all the models you will see, if you divide the total number by 3, that's how many athletes there are. So in the 24 model, there's 8 athletes. In the 21, there's 7. In the 18 models, there's 6. We are required to have an affiliate director, and we are required to have an independent director. Because of our organization, and with one of the audits, it has been recommended by the USOPC that we reduce our board. That's not a requirement, but it was a recommendation. So I am going to very quickly just go over these models. Option A is our current board structure with 24 members. It's what we're operating under today and will operate under tomorrow. Option B would be a 21-member model with representation from each USA Softball membership group. Again, getting people elected. The JOs would have a representative on the board elected by the JO commissioners. The commissioners would have 2 members elected by the commissioners. Instead of having the regional vice presidents, it would be the territorial vice presidents would have the automatic seat on the board. Option C would be a 21-member model, very similar to option B, except we would not have the elections by groups. It would be at-large members elected by council. Option D would be eliminating territories or regions, depending what we want to call them, territories or regions, and going with 6, whether we want to call them territories or regions, and then dealing with filling in those other spots as needed. And option E would be an 18-member model. And again, the other constant that we've all agreed on as the board and governance review committee is that the president-elect and immediate past president need to stay on for continuity, et cetera. And any lady or gentleman out there that's willing to take on a 6-year commitment like that, you have my respect and admiration. So with that being said, do we have any questions that people want to ask before we begin the voting process? Good. Okay, if we could put the options up and begin. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. The ones that are different, so when you go to the 6 regional vice presidents or the 4 territories, does that realign regions or go to 6 regions?
The only model here that would realign anything is option D, where we would just have 6 areas, whether we call them regions or territories or create a new term, And the predominant thought of most of the people who told me they like this model would be kind of going with northeast, north central, northwest, southwest, south central, southeast. The current options B, C, and E would not affect regions and territories as they are. The only thing is that the regional vice president would not be automatically a board member. It would be the territorial vice president would become the board member. Chris.
Are the terms still 2-year terms?
The terms will be 2 years terms, except when we roll it out, and we've done this in the past when we had to add athletes and move them and do a few different things, it would be clear that the beginning, in order to get things rolling, we may have a 1-year term, but it would be clearly stated that it'll be a 1-year term and then everything would roll over into a 2-year term. Because the people that were elected at this convention, you will get your full 2 years. We're not looking to kick people off. That's why the implementation would begin at the earliest in 2027. And again, the results of this survey will go to the board, and the board will obviously make the final decision on what we want to do. Again, we are looking for feedback and your honest opinion. Yes, sir.
Along with the length of the terms, are there going to be imposed term limits as successive years?
The code, and again, this was from the USOPC audit, not the code, I'm sorry. The current bylaws that govern the board, there are now term limits. No board member may serve for more than 10 consecutive years. And I believe that was instituted maybe a year ago, so the clock is ticking on the current board members. 10 years seems like a lot, but there's a lot of board members that have 10 are getting close. Mr. Pops.
So clarification, the only option that every region has a representative on that board is the one we're currently using, correct?
That would be correct.
All right, thank you.
Let's call for the question and begin the voting. So if you can put up the screen and vote for option A through E. Please vote now.
Okay.
Option A received 67.63% of the vote. So now the board and the Governance Review Committee, we have direction that what we have now works, that you like it, and we can take this kind of off of our docket for the future. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think those are the concerns. I do.
We've come to that point.
No.
It's been a great week. Appreciate everybody's attendance, and I appreciate everybody's attention. I appreciate everybody's honesty. I appreciate everybody's willingness to converse and work through our issues. Sitting back and watching this week, from a standpoint of how the committees have worked. Obviously, I've noticed how much our preparation in advance has really helped us, meaning that the committees who had the Zoom meetings, so many Zoom meetings in some cases, that have led up to coming here and being able to do our business. So I think that that's really worked out well for us. I appreciate the comments during the committee reports on communications and marketing, the audit committee, playing rules, equipment testing. The committee chair, thank you very much for your work, and committee members, thank you for making their job easier by your participation. You know, we have a great sport. It's just our job to try to make it a little better each and every time that we talk about things. As I said the other day, we have restrictions, we have requirements. I've gotten a lot of good feedback and some opportunities from some members in here willing to help with congressional stuff and the safe sport items. As I said the other day, it's important, but it's hard. We're just going to continue to try to work through those issues of where it is hard and try to make it better, because it is extremely important for us to protect our athletes. And if we have to, unfortunately, if we have to make it a one organization crusade and campaign to do that, then that's our job, and we will do it to the best of our abilities. Appreciate the comments in the commissioners meeting, trying to work through the background check process as we've done some things that are new, and hopefully that we'll continue to make those processes more seamless for everyone. The feedback from the slow pitch committee, the JO committee on our tournament direction is invaluable. I appreciate the fact that it's being driven by you folks, because in the past, we kind of tried to lead that effort at the national office. We're willing to assist, we're willing to help, but you folks are the ones that run these programs. You're on the ground. You know, it's just like us with running our events at the stadium that are not a part of USA Softball and the grassroots program. We know what's best for them, and we'll continue to work through those from the standpoint of the college and the high school events and things like that. But just the overall conversation and the work, the willingness to work together is the thing that I'm taking away from this week. Have we had disagreements? We're a family. We're going to have disagreements, but those healthy disagreements help us get to that next level and next stage in what we need to do for this organization as we move forward. So, as always, I'm extremely proud to stand before you and have the opportunity to lead this organization. But I think all of you know, and you've made it real clear this week, and it's great, we're not a one-person show. So at this time, I would like for the staff members to please come up front. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your efforts this week. You see Ray and Beth, chairs down there on the end. They're as much a part of this staff as anything that we do. Every time we have an event, USA Softball Hall of Fame Stadium, Beth's in the ticket booth. And I can tell how crowded and how busy we are based on the number of books that she can read in that weekend. But it takes everyone to do what we do. A couple of people are not up here, obviously. Debbie, Jay's still back there working the magic on the screen behind me. But thank you all for seeing what we see and thanking this group for what they do. Because it is a daunting task. These people are trying and working hard to take care of the organizations with you folks, give you ideas, give you help, and help you with solutions to the issues in your area. But it's important trying to run a national office. All right, Vince staff is not here. I made a decision this year that they're important. but we just came off of 25 event weekends this past year. And it was like, they need to have some normal work hours. And so they've been back at the office. Now, I won't say I haven't seen the truck going back and forth and delivering and taking things away. But this group has worked extremely hard, and this is what I really appreciate about this group. You recognize it and you understand it. So ladies and gentlemen, the staff, my fellow coworkers, thank you very much. You know, I mentioned the committee's working year round and things, and that's what staff has been a part of as well. So working those hours, doing those calls, after hours at our office, but the passion, desire and the drive for what they do is very impressive. So again, thank you very much for your recognition. The board of directors, thank you for the opportunity, President Devine. You know, the one thing that COVID changed is we do a board meeting every month. And sometimes this past year with some special things, the Devon Park stuff, the Olympic announcement, the awards package, there were 2 board meetings within that month. That's a time commitment. Our board meetings are somewhere north of 90 minutes. We already know that if we get really at that 120-minute mark, 2 hours, then we probably haven't done a very good job of managing what we're needing to do, or it's extremely important, one or the other. But I appreciate the camaraderie with the board, the opportunity to bounce things back and forth. We try to give you our best assessment of where we're at, where we're going, and what we need to do, and to give you all the information you need to make the best decision that we can make for this organization. And I know that this group out here is the one that elects these members in some way, shape, or form on this board, and they represent you very well each and every time that we have something that's voted on. Lastly, I want to thank all the council members, all the workers in the field on the grassroots program for what you do in the field. As I said earlier, you are the folks who understand what we do in your area. You are the experts there. It's our job to do the best to our ability to give you the tools that we can give you to do your jobs out in the field, because we do not know your demographics or your socioeconomics. It's just our job to give you tools to get the job done. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I think everyone's gotten a good feel and a good idea of who these people are. I know that there was information in your packet, great idea, marketing committee, to hand that out, the who's who. On our portal, there's an updated org chart as well as responsibilities. So please reach out to those folks in those areas. And then when in doubt, just do what Andy Dooley does. Craig, call me. It works, but obviously, if you need to know who to go to and you're not sure, don't hesitate to ask. It doesn't always have to be me. As you figured out this week, there's a lot of smart young people in that office. And I'm not one of those folks anymore. That's what they do. And I appreciate them each and every day. But thank you to everyone here in the council. It's been a great few days. I agree with you, Christy. The JO meeting on the front end is great. Looking forward to the UIC clinic on the front end next year. Looking forward to another full Hall of Fame room with the great inductees that we have next year. I'm just looking forward to a great 2025 as we move on. My wife's not here, but I want to say thank you to my family for putting up with me. They're always there. Thank you.
So I got the important job to drop the hammer here shortly, but I want to thank some people also. But, first off, thank you. This, being the president of this organization is unbelievable. I'm rough. I am who I am, and everybody's talked about it already. That, I can tell you're not comfortable up there, and I'm not. But I get my point across. What he said about the, committees, I think we had a really good cut. I thought it went really good. I did like the JO meeting on the front. We had pulled back. You were wondering how that's gonna work, but just like that, we've got to try stuff. We got to keep moving forward, even though you say no, 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 no. Maybe some other people are going yes. That vote we just had, I could not see that coming. It was remarkable, thinking, okay, you guys are happy with this? That's what we're looking for. We are looking for your feedback. Saying we just got it, so we ain't gonna do nothing. We're just gonna keep going down the road. But understand, just because you might not believe in something that we might be changing to, it's not wrong. It might just be different. Also on the committees, I talked to Allison. We are gonna send that email out right away. People that want to be on the committees. Once again, I'm handcuffed what I can do, but I need that information. A lot of you guys said I didn't get the email. Well, if you didn't get the email by December 1st, email Allison at the national office and tell her what committees you'd like to be on. I'll get that information. So once again, I got 1 year left of this, so you got 1 year to put up with me, but thank you for electing me. I tell you, it's just, when I go places and they said, president, they don't know how little sometimes that means, but it means a lot to me. So it's just an honor to represent y'all. So I officially adjourn the meeting.